today I'm picking up the topic of integration. I think integration is a very interesting topic to study, and a lot of students face different type of problems. So, based on my teaching experience, I will share one example of the problems
Please watch the
students
complete playlist on
face
this channel.
when they are up
You would
against
be able to solve most of
definite
calculus
integration. So,
problems after watching
let's
it.
talk about
All the best for
this
this course by
question
Institute
on
of
definite
Conceptual
integration.
Physics.
This is, and then I will explain you what exactly is the problem. Okay, so let's say this you want to solve this problem of sine of x. It is 0 to 2 pi and dx, right? So pretty standard problem. I mean, if you know the formulas, you could solve it, but we will study it in a systematic manner so that you can understand where exactly is the student facing the problem, and how does he solve it is something I'm going to provide solution to. So if you notice this, this is an example of a definite integration where the lower limit is 0 and the upper limit is 2 pi, right? So these are the limits you are working against. So in this type of problem, let's draw a graph to get a more appreciation of where exactly, right, is the problem. So let's draw a graph. If you see the graph of sine, which is sinusoidal, right, the impression you may get is that the answer to the problem has to be 0 because you have a positive side, right, and then a negative side. So the answer to sin x dx should be 0 because the areas are canceling each other, right? But let's see what exactly happens. First thing you have to do when you look at any function. So this is a type which is fx dx, and it is a to b, right? A to b and fx dx. So you should know that, how do I split my fx? You sometimes have to split this fx, okay, to be able to accurately think. Let me give an example. Now, if you notice this graph of sine x and x, this is your pi by 2, this is your pi, this is 3 pi by 2, and this is 2 pi. So this is the way you need to think about it. The first part of the graph, okay, the first part of the graph is what? It is positive sine x, right? Sine is 1, sorry, 0 to 1 in the angle of 0 to 2 pi, okay? So from 0 to pi, it is positive sine x, okay? Now look into the graph, the second part. The second part, the graph is pi to 2 pi, but this time you have to take minus sine 2x dx. Let's do standard integration now. Okay, I think it is sine x. Okay. So this is minus cos x minus, I'm taking this minus out, and this is becoming minus cos x, and integral the lower limit and the upper limit. Right? So let's put it this way. This comes out to be, so this will become a minus and a minus. So this becomes, and this is where the confusion is. I think when you try to club them together and don't write them separately, 0 to pi, and you will see if you just make it minus minus cos x, this will become cos x, and you feel like cancelling. It is not. So let's write it as minus cos pi plus cos 0 plus cos of 2 pi minus cos of pi. So I've corrected this, 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi. So this is minus 1. Cos pi is minus 1, right? So minus 1 minus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 minus minus 1 is equal to 4. Look at this. So when you integrate sine x, and when you look at the graph, you tend to mix area under the curve which you learned in kinematics actually. Um, and try to, think in terms of negative area and positive area getting cancelled or cancelling with each other. That is not the case. If you notice, the area is not negative. Area is positive. Area is area, right? Whether it is up the x-axis or down the x-axis, the area remains area. And therefore, area is always positive. And therefore, you can see the net answer is coming out to be 4, right? So, so whenever you see these symmetrical graphs and you tend to believe that the answer is 0 because one part of the graph is positive and the second part is negative, please remember area is always positive. And therefore, when you integrate, you will actually get an answer. And you can guess also the area under the graph, each of this, right? So this is one part, second part, third part, and the fourth part, right? All of these have got added. And you have taken the sum of sine x from 0 to pi by 2, the answer is 1. So the sum of all the values of sine from 0 to 90 degree comes out to be actually 1. Okay. This is the way you need to think in terms of definite integration. If you knew the formula, you tend to apply this blindly, saying that, okay, I will not split it, and I'm going to do like this, right? So let's say you decide that you will solve it in a particular manner, and let's say you say 0 to 2 pi, and you say, okay, sine x dx is equal to, you will get minus cos x, right? And the answer is going to be 0 to 2 pi is equal to minus cos 2 pi and plus cos of 0. So because you're writing f of b minus f of a, right? This is the way you solve the upper and lower limits when it comes to that. So this is minus 1 plus 1 is equal to 0, right? If you directly do 0 to 2 pi and you don't split it into two parts of sine x and minus sine x, right? Because the function changes. In this part, it remains positive. In this part, it is negative. So it is better to always look into the question and say, I have an upper limit and I have a lower limit. Do I need to, can I just draw a graph of this uh, function? And based on that, I will decide how to, do the integration. You may have to split the limits, the upper limit and the lower limit, in two parts. So upper and then 0 to pi in this case, and then pi to 2 pi, right? So that's the way I'm saying you need to think. If you do it straight, you straight away get a 0 answer. Whereas if you solve it the way I've explained you, the way you think in terms of definite integration. Now this thinking is that this is positive area and this is negative area, hence the answer is 0, right? Which is very misleading actually. So I hope it made sense to you. The point I'm trying to drive home to you is, please split the function properly. When you do definite integration, there are certain properties that need to be clear in your mind when you solve definite integration question. For the upcoming JEE mains examination, or if you're an IB board student or AP math student, one of the very important things you need to know is the greatest integer function, what we call as a GIF. I will bring that topic in my next video. But for the time being, thank you very much for your time, and wait for my next video. Please don't forget to subscribe this channel, because you are going to see a lot of action on this channel. Don't miss any video on this channel. For all you know, it may change your rank. So thank you very much for your time today.